السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
لا إله إلا الله. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. قال الله تعالى: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء. واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، وإن خير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وإن شر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. أجارني الله وإياكم منها. قال الله عز وجل: أوصانا نحن ومن جاء من قبلنا في كتابه الكريم. قال الله تعالى: ولقد وصينا الذين أوتوا الكتاب من قبلكم وإياكم أن اتقوا الله. Dear brothers and sisters, we praise Allah Azza wa Jal. We thank Him, for He is the only one indeed worthy of praise. He is the only one worthy of praise. We bear witness that no one is worthy of worship except Allah Azza wa Jal, and nothing is worthy of worship except Allah Azza wa Jal. And we bear witness that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is his final messenger, his final prophet. Brothers and sisters, I ask Allah Azza wa Jal to guide us, for indeed the ones He has guided, no one can misguide them. And for the ones that are misguided, only Allah can guide them. We ask Him to guide us and fulfill our guidance solely for His sake. We will be continuing our khutbah from the previous time I was here, and it is the children's rights upon the parents. Allah Azza wa Jal says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا قُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ وَأَهْلِيكُمْ نَارًا وَقُودُهَا النَّاسُ وَالْحِجَارَةُ عليها ملائكة غلاظ شداد لا يعصون الله ما أمرهم ويفعلون ما يؤمرون. Allah in this verse is giving us a warning, and He's saying, O you who believe, save yourselves and protect yourselves and your families from the hellfire. The rights of children upon parents, it's important in Islam because it will raise the next generation. It will raise the generation that will carry the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal. It will raise generations of even non-Muslims to become Muslim. When you raise your child upon good faith, upon proper tawheed, he becomes an example not just to the other believers, but also to the non-believers. We gave a few examples of what good upbringing, what is the result of it. We gave an example of Zayd ibn Thabit radiyallahu anh. He was a scribe of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam from a young age of 13, 12. We also gave an example of Abdullah ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhuma, the cousin of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He became a major scholar at the age of 12, 13. Abu Bakr radiyallahu anh, Umar radiyallahu anh, as leaders of the believers, after the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam passed away, they would go to Abdullah ibn Abbas and ask him for advice. And they were commanders of nations. We also have Amr ibn Salama radiyallahu anh. Amr ibn Salama at the age of 7. At the age of 7 years old, he was leading his tribe in prayer. He was the imam of his tribe at the age of 7. He was the most well-versed in the Quran from his tribe, to the point where they made him an imam to lead every single salah at the age of 7. We have Umar ibn Abdul Aziz radiyallahu anh, where his teacher complained to his parents about him doing too much salah. His own teacher went to his parents, said, your son, he takes too long in salah. And he prays too much. He prays too much sunnah. He overdoes it. But he was so keen on fulfilling the salah as a young age, growing up, that his own Quran teacher, Islamic teacher, complained like, okay, you're outdoing me. Subhanallah. And he turned out to be a Khalifa, a leader, Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, a just leader. We have Muhammad al-Fatih. Muhammad al-Fatih, as a young child, we used to always watch they made a cartoon movie about him. And subhanallah, growing up, we learned about him before watching this cartoon. And one thing that stuck with me is that his mom would always take him to the fortress of Constantinople, which is today Istanbul. And she would say, you see that? That was ours, the Muslim nation. And Al-Quds was ours, the Muslim nation. She upbrought him from a young age. She instilled who he was, who he is as a Muslim, who he should be as a Muslim, until he grew up to be who he grew up and received the nickname of Al-Fatih, because he opened things and lands that were taken away from Muslims. We have Sufyan al-Thawri radiyallahu anhu, and some scholars actually say if there was a fifth madhab, it would be the madhab of al-Thawri, because of his vast knowledge. He became a mufti at the age of 20, and the amount of knowledge he had was vast. And it's not only men. We have Asma bint Abi Bakr radiyallahu anhuma. She, at the age of 27, pregnant, would help her father and Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam during their hijrah She would walk every day for 3 days, about 5 kilometers from Mecca to Ghar Thawr, to the cave where Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam and Abu Bakr remained. 5 kilometers there, 5 kilometers back. She split her belt into 2 so she can carry one side the food, the other side the water. So she did not fear anything. She had iman in her heart, even as pregnant. We have Darda al-Sughra, and she was one of the tabi'een, the ones, the second generation that came after. And from her, many of the scholars that we know today learned from. And even one of the khulafa, one of the leaders of the Muslim nation, was taught by her, Abdul Malik ibn Marwan. So these are men and women that Allah Azza wa Jal has blessed to carry this deen. But they would not have carried it if they did not have the proper upbringing, if they did not have the proper support from their families, from their communities. How do we get to that? The first is, what we must know is, it's an amanah. كلكم راع وكلكم مسؤول عن رعيته, as Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam says. Each of you is responsible, each of you is a guardian, each of you is a shepherd, and each of you is responsible for his own flock. So a father is responsible for his children, not just in food, not just in dress, but also in knowledge. The weight of the rights of children. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he says, "Ma min abdin yastar'ihi Allah." There is no servant of Allah, there is no person that Allah Azza wa Jal gives him a responsibility. Yastar'ihi Allahu ra'iyah, a responsibility. Yamutu yawma yamut, and when he dies, he dies. Wa huwa ghashun li ra'iyatih, and he was cheating his responsibility. So you're shortening your children and teaching them tawheed. You're shortening your children by saying one is better than the other. Whatever that responsibility is, you're not fulfilling it to your best of ability. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam says, what's the result for that responsible person? إِلَّا حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ الْجَنَّةِ. Allah will make Jannah haram upon that person. If your child, you don't teach him how to pray, that is an amanah. Be fearful that you might fall in this hadith, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, that Allah will make Jannah haram upon you, that you will never enter it because you did not fulfill your duty upon your children. It starts before having kids even. It starts even before getting married. Before you get married, you must choose the right wife. You must choose the right spouse. As Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he says, تُنْكَحُ الْمَرْأَةُ لِأَرْبَعٍ, that the woman gets married to 4. There's 4 personalities of 4 or 4 characteristics. لِمَالِهَا, for her wealth. لِحَسَبِهَا, for her lineage, or her known, she's being known, her status. وَجَمَالِهَا, and her beauty. وَلِدِينِهَا, and for her religion. And then he says, فَاظْفَرْ بِذَاتِ الدِّينِ. فَاظْفَرْ بِذَاتِ الدِّينِ, stick to the one that has the deen. It does not mean don't look for a beautiful spouse, no. It does not mean look for a good lineage or a good family, no. It means if you find a spouse that their deen is intact, stick with that spouse. And speaking of lineage, as Muslims, we teach our kids, we are Muslims in the lineage of Islam. By the names, we choose Muslim names to them. We make them proud about their names. For indeed, in the day of judgment, they will be called upon their names and the names of their forefathers. Of course, we have to spend on them properly. We have to clothe them. We have to give them support, health, whatever it is. And subhanallah, Allah Azza wa Jal made this deen to where it is the fairest. No one can complain, I can't fulfill it. Allah Azza wa Jal, He says, وَعَلَى الْمَوْلُودِ لَهُ رِزْقُهُنَّ وَكِسْوَتُهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ لَا تُكَلَّفُ نَفْسٌ إِلَّا وُسْعَهَا. So every single father, every single guardian, they must provide for their children. They must clothe their children. And the provide is not just give them $20 and don't worry what they buy with it. No, you make sure they buy something healthy, safe. Clothing them does not mean I just take them to the mall and whatever they want they can purchase. I make sure it's something that resembles a Muslim. I make sure it doesn't say any curse words or any, symbols on the shirt. I make sure their dress resembles the child of a Muslim. Bil ma'ruf means to what is good. And what other good is there than Islam? And then Allah Azza wa Jal says, لا تكلف نفس إلا وسعها. That each person is on their own level. They will not be judged for what they cannot afford. So if you cannot afford your child a Mercedes, you don't have to go buy him a Mercedes. If you can afford your child a Mercedes and you have raised him a well-raising, then sure, you can support him. If your child wants a $200-300 sneakers, because his friends have them, don't go, I feel bad, they're gonna make fun of him, and you can't afford it. No, teach him. It's above our budget. Teach him what it means to be a Muslim and to go down to earth. After getting married, after having children, it starts by teaching them upon the fitrah. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, ما من مولود إلا يولد على الفطرة. There is no child that is born except he is upon fitrah. And fitrah is the pure nature of Allah Azza wa Jal. And that is the nature of knowing Allah. The child knows Allah Azza wa Jal. In college, I had a teammate, non-Muslim, and they never taught their kids anything. I met his nephew once. He was 4, maybe 5. And I'm asking him, where's God? I'm asking, who's God? He goes, God, He's above everything. God is not like a human. He's answering questions that a Muslim child, he did not say Jesus is God. Because his parents never what? As a Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he says that فَأَبَوَاهُ, his parents will make him a Jew. His parents will make him a Christian. His parents will change his fitrah. It'll make his fitrah not clean. It will change him away from the path. He was not influenced by anything, so he knew. He had that fitrah in his heart. And as Muslims, alhamdulillah, we know Allah Azza wa Jal is our creator. So as a child for your children, teach them what tawheed is. Teach them what salah is. Teach them what zakah is. Teach them who Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is. I have kids, wallahi, asking me if Allah is Muhammad. Asking me as their teacher, and their children, some of them are 11, 12. Sheikh, is Muhammad Allah? It's heartbreaking. You don't take your child to the masjid and expect the masjid to take care of them. The masjid will teach them as much as they can. But you have a responsibility at home. It hurts me as a teacher, as a Muslim, to hear that from our Muslim young kids. Is Allah Muhammad? So what's the difference between Jesus? Parents, take care of your children. Make sure they're watching the correct things. Don't give them the iPad so you can go cook. Don't give them the iPad so you can watch your news. Watch out. كلكم راع وكلكم مسؤول عن رعيته. You will be asked. Why did your child think that Muhammad is Allah? Imagine going to the grave and your child is asked, who is your Lord? Who is the prophet that was sent upon you? And he doesn't know how to differentiate between the two. Brothers and sisters, the masajid will do their role. But at the houses, we all have to do our role as well. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروا إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله مضاعف الحسنات وغافر السيئات وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله مجيب الدعوات وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله وصفيه وخليله أرسله الله بالآيات وأيده بالمعجزات ليخرج الناس إلى النور من الظلمات صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. Brothers and sisters, there are more rights that you must do towards your children. You must be fair between them. You cannot have a favorite child. A man came to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam and said, I have gifted one of my children something. A servant. Another narration, a gift. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he asked him, did you give the same gift to all of them? He said, no. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he says, he told him to fear Allah Azza wa Jal and to be just between his children. And to be just between his children. فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَأَعْدِلُوا بَيْنَ أَوْلَادِكُمْ. Have fear of Allah Azza wa Jal and be fair between your children. You must show mercy and kindness towards them. As the narration about Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he was in a gathering and Al-Hasan or Al-Husayn ibn Ali, one of them, came up to him and he kissed his forehead. And one of the people in the gathering who was from the Arab, he was from the nomads, he said, Wallahi, I have 10 children. I have never kissed one of them. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he says, Man la yarham la yurham. Whoever doesn't show mercy will not be shown mercy. So if your child wants to play with you, it's okay. Don't watch the news. Play with them. Have mercy. Make dua for them consistently. And be careful, especially mothers, to make dua against them. You will find mothers, sometimes fathers as well, that will get angry and call upon Allah Azza wa Jal to, make the child, may Allah take you or something like that. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he tells us to not do those types of dua where we call anything negative towards your child. And the reason he gave is he said you might cross a time where Allah Azza wa Jal is accepting the dua. And that's the dua he will accept from you. We will end with this, and it's the importance of daughters. Raising righteous daughters. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he says, "Ma min muslimin tudriku lahu ibnatan." There's no believer that has two female children, two girls. فَيُحْسِنُ إِلَيْهِمَا. He is good towards them, meaning even teaching them the deen, meaning teaching them the hijab. Don't be embarrassed, you're a Muslimah from a young age. إِلَّا أَدْخَلَتَاهُ الْجَنَّةِ. They'll be the purpose for him to enter Jannah. Another narration says 3 daughters. 2 or 3, that's the level of worth that our daughters have. Raise them well, raise them upon Islam. They will be a guard from hellfire. And they will be a reason for you to enter Jannah. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت، وعافنا فيمن عافيت، وتولنا فيمن توليت، وبارك لنا اللهم فيما رزقتنا وأعطيت. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر، أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله، أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح، قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر، لا إله إلا الله.
استووا استقيموا ثابنا وثابكم الله. صلوا صلاة مودع. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الرحمن الرحيم، مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم، صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.